update, because last I told you I was cleared from I did everything I needed to do, the CT scan, bone scan, MRI, colonoscopy, and fortunately everything for me came back and it was contained. So once you get that information, that's the first step, once you get the diagnosis, to find out if it's contained or not. And then the decision is, do you go with the radiation route or the prostatectomy route? For me, it was clear I knew I wanted to get a prostatectomy based on my age, and it was really, for me, it was like I just wanted it out. Because you only have one shot to get that prostatectomy. If you first do radiation, then if it comes back 20 years later, then you can't do the prostatectomy. There are other things you have to do. So you have one shot at it before you do radiation to do the prostatectomy. And because of my age, if it comes back 20 years later, I want to be able to handle it, I'll still be active. If I were 10, 20, 30 years older and I get it, I might have gone with the radiation route. So once I decided on the prostatectomy, the next step is choosing a surgeon. And that can be tough. Who's going to be, I'm going to put my future in the hands of, because it's so microscopic, you cut a nerve the wrong way and it could change what the rest of my life is like. But also with the prostatectomy, at least I know whatever we're doing, the cancer is gone, which is a great thing. So I got some referrals, one from recommendations, one from my urologist, and then from a friend who also had a prostatectomy who was about my age. And my urologist his advice was, he wanted, because of my age, it was important for him for me to go with someone who does it all the time. Older people, he recommends the urologist who does the surgeries, who's in his practice. But for me, he wanted me to go because of how it could affect the next 20 years of my life. Someone who does it a lot. And he gave me a recommendation and someone else gave me a recommendation. So the decision isn't as easy as you think, because someone who does it a lot is probably working at a teaching hospital. And at a teaching hospital, how much the actual surgeon does it versus having residents or fellows do some of the work varies. So it's important to go and consult with the surgeon and get some insight. So before I did that, I talked to some friends who were PAs or surgeons to get some ideas of questions you might want to ask, or I should ask when I went into that meeting, and get some also ideas of like, when should I be doing it? And I was given some really great advice. For one, and some of it makes just complete sense. If you're having surgery, try to see if you could do it earlier in the day. The later in the day, the more tired the surgeon would be if it's like late at night. So if you have a choice, as with any of us, even a great surgeon gets tired as the day goes on. So if you could do it earlier in the day, that's preferred. So that's one thing that for me was great. But what I wanted to find out was, okay, how much of this surgery is the surgeon going to actually be doing? And how much will the residents or fellows be doing the surgery, and trying to get an honest answer. So that's what I set up. I set up one consultation with a great doctor at Weill Cornell and another at Fox Chase in Philadelphia. And as soon as I could. So I was able to meet with the Weill Cornell, and I did that. And I just had a really great feeling, and I got to speak to him. And what he told me was that he does have residents, and his PA who's with him, who's been with him for years. And the resident might just do the opening and closing. It's for experience, but anything sensitive, he does himself. And he just was very reassuring to me, and I just had a good sense with him. So I chose him, which is great, and I'm going to be having my surgery. It's usually a month to 6 weeks out, so mine is beginning of June is when I'm going to do it. I wanted to do it after Jonah's graduation, so that's what I did. Oh, another bit of advice that I was given is be careful of choosing a surgeon who's the chair of the department. Now, chair of the department has a lot of experience, and that's great, but also has so many responsibilities, so you're more likely to get someone who might be torn in different directions and might get more help there. Again, this is all individual, so it's just something. It doesn't mean that the chair of the department who's the surgeon won't be great. It's just, this was just another bit of advice to just be aware of that's another possible concern that you might have, that you'd want to address when you meet with your surgeon. So I'm all set to go. So now I've got about 5 or 6 weeks to get as much done as I can. That I want to be physical and active, do my Kegel exercises that I was given so I could strengthen as much before the surgery, because the month after, there's no exercise, no anything. I mean, I can walk, but I can't lift anything more than 5 or 6 pounds. I'm not supposed to run, swim, work out. So I'm just trying to do all that I can now. So I'm feeling great. Thank you all for your love and well wishes and concern and questions that you sent. So I just wanted to share that with you, and I'm feeling really positive about it. So thank you. Now I'm going to turn it over to my nephew, Noah Frank, to play us out.
A dude or a family man, complete in a ton. He might have cancer, but he's still having fun. When health is the style, there is nowhere to go. So check on the vlog, this is his battle, yo. Mark Hyman. Mark Hyman. Mark Hyman.